Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? And happy new week. I hope you guys are ready for the week. I wish you guys all that you wish yourself. I hope this week brings every good things and a fabulous week for us all. So in today's video, I'm going to be finalizing the point tests for migrating to Australia. Remember my last video, I talked about few points you're going to get to be able to be eligible to migrate to Australia, and I mentioned age, English exam, and I also mentioned employment too. So today I will be focusing on the remaining and also talk about the state sponsorship. I'm not going to make this video so long, so like I told you guys in my first video, it's going to be part by part. So like I said, I am not an agent, neither am I a Mara consultant. I am just Uche that processed everything all by herself, and I am sharing my tips based on my personal experience migrating to Australia without using an agent. So if you can pick few points from whatever I say here and do your research as well, in due time you would be able to get all the information you need to get yourself started. So let's go there. The first one is education. You know, like I said, Australian qualification framework categorize Nigerian education qualification into two ties, which is tie 1 and tie 2. And in this category, not all schools are in tie 1. We have only few schools, which is OAU, FUTA, UNILAG, and UI that Australia recognize as a bachelor's degree. Any other school, they regard it as a tie 2, which is associate degree. And if you go for any assessment from a tie 2 uni for like a higher profession occupation, you might get a negative assessment. While if you're in these 4 schools that I mentioned and you are working closely related to what you studied, you would get a positive assessment. But not to worry, you'll be like, what? Not to worry, I will explain better. So for example, if I finished from Unizik and I studied engineering and I'm working as an engineer and I want to assess my occupation and my education qualification, I will actually get a positive assessment, reason being that I studied for 5 years. So anyone from any of those other schools that I did not mention that has a 5 years study from any background and you studied for 5 years and you want to nominate your occupation in the occupation list and you're working closely related to that occupation, you will get a positive assessment. In my other video, I said that when you want to assess for Australia skilled immigration, your work and your studies has to be closely related. So for example, again, for other people, let's assume that I'm in Unilag and I studied accounting for 4 years. Because Unilag is in Taiwan, I will get a positive assessment if I'm also working closely related to my occupation. While someone from Unizik, UNN, Uniben, or any other school, it's studied for 4 years and they want to assess for a higher qualification and they don't have that 5 years. They don't have that 5 years studies. They will get a negative assessment even if they are working closely related to that occupation. So what we do, because each occupation you're nominating in the skilled immigration visa has level. There are level 1 occupation for all those engineers, doctors, lawyers, and the likes. Those ones you really need to have 5 years studies or you're in this Taiwan university to be able to get a positive assessment. Then they have level 2 downwards. Level is classified from level 1 to 5, so they'll have level 2 downwards. So anyone coming from Uniben and every other school can actually nominate anything from level 2 downwards, except in quote, if you studied 5 years and you're 100% sure your studies were for 5 years from the Tier 2 university and you go for level 1, sure, you are eligible if you also met the requirement. Not because you have that, you now say, oh, I am eligible. If you also met the requirement for the occupation you're nominating. But for others in Type 2, you have to play smart by nominating occupations that are in level 2 downwards, that are also closely related to what you are doing. So I hope you guys understand that part. The next one again is partners points. For single people, you get 10 points from the point tests. They give you 10 points automatic if you're single. But if you're married or you have a de facto partner, that's someone you are actually living with, so you can also come with them, and what they would do is to assess occupation in the occupation list if they are graduates, because they have to have a positive assessment. Husband or wife, you have to assess and have a positive assessment, and you have to also write English exam. Single person, you have 10 points. Also for partners, if your partner, let's say it's not doesn't have any occupation in that list, your partner can actually write only English and they would give you 5 points. But if they didn't do any of that, you're not going to get any point from partners point. I would say if you can make all the points yourself, no need of stressing your partner. Yes, they can write the English because it's good too that they have the English exam, instead of paying so much again to do your assessment and all that. They can actually write English and give you that 5 points if you're lacking point. But if on your own, you could make up your points by yourself and have a very high point, you really don't need your partner to assess for you to have a point. But like I said, as a single person, you automatically have that. Then for state sponsors, I told you, for you to come through skilled immigration, they have 3 pathways for coming to Australia through skilled immigration, which is the one that are common. It's not as if that is just these 3. But you have 189, which is their federal skilled immigration pathway. This one is an independent visa that allow you live in Australia, anywhere in Australia by yourself, but no one can give you point, meaning that all the points you have to gather it by yourself. That's why it's called independent visa. It's a permanent resident visa. You have benefits, you have Medicare and all that. You live in Australia as a permanent resident for 4 years, you're eligible to apply for your citizenship. So that's one part of Australian skilled immigration, which is the federal skilled. The next one is the state-sponsored visa, which is also a permanent resident visa. But this one, a specific state has to nominate you. Like now, I am in Queensland and my occupation is in Queensland shortage list. I go through the process, get my documents ready, and I do my expression of interest to tell Queensland State that I want to come and live. They will assess through my documents, and if what they are seeing is good, they will nominate me. So what they will do is to add 5 points to the points I've already made by myself. For example, I've gathered from my age, school, and all the points that I've mentioned before, and I have like 80 points. If Queensland nominates me, they will give me extra 5 points, making it 85 points for me. But I have an obligation to live in Queensland for 2 years. I have to live, work, school in Queensland for 2 years. After 2 years, I can move to any of Australian states that I like. So the next one is the Provisional Regional Skilled Visa, which is a 5 years visa, but you have to live in a regional area for 3 years, work in any full-time job, then you'll be eligible to apply for your permanent resident. You don't have a permanent resident with skilled immigration visa 491. That's what it's called. So you have to live in any regional area of Australia. You can't live in the city like Sydney Melbourne or Brisbane or any other postcode that is close to the city. It has to be a recognized regional area. That's where you would have to live, and you have to work for 3 years. It doesn't matter the job. Even if you come in as an engineer and you got a job as a carer or as a mechanic or as a cleaner, whatever job, there's dignity of labor here. So it doesn't matter. You can even combine 2-3 jobs to make up for this full time. As long as you're doing 35 hours a week, then after that 3 years of living in the regional area, you are eligible to apply for permanent residence, which they would convert your visa to a visa called 191. It's a permanent resident visa. And after you have fulfilled that 3 years obligation of living, working in the regional area, and you get your permanent residence, you can move to any city of your choice. This visa doesn't have a permanent resident on it, but it has a Medicare. During my time, you don't have a Medicare. It's still you apply for the permanent resident that the Australian government would open a Medicare card for you. But with this 491 that like I said before, Australia started this in November 2019. So there's a Medicare attached to this. You can actually, your kids can school in the regional area and you don't pay anything as long as it's a public school. But if you go for a private school, you would pay. Also, even as a permanent resident, you go to a private school, you would also. In short, because Australian government want people to move, to declutter the cities, they are actually encouraging people to move to the regional area. Some states will even give you some benefits if you move from a city to the regional area. So these are the 3 most common pathways you can come to Australia. And for this regional provisional visa as well, if you are nominated by any region, they give you 15 points. So let's assume you have 80 points already from your age, education, employment, English tests, whether single or your partner wrote English. You also get 15 points from the regional state that is sponsoring your visa. Is it not good? So most people, instead of you waiting to get the 189 or waiting to get the 190, which is the state sponsorship, and you have this in your domot, why don't you make use of it? There is no difference. The only difference is that, yes, these people have permanent residence immediately, but it doesn't stop you from whatever you want to do. You can still achieve with this visa. So I hope you guys understand this point test and everything. I will be sharing the process now that we have talked about the points, and you can also Google to see everything yourself. The next video I'm going to make is the process, how you're going to go about the process, the assessing bodies and the like. So I'm going to be sharing that in my next video. And I would also like to thank my subscribers. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, share to people, because you can be saving a soul, you know, and you can be helping someone somewhere by sharing the video and leaving a comment or any question you want to ask from what I've said, or how you can calculate your point and all that. Please leave it in the comment section so I would answer them in no time. And please subscribe to my channel, like, share. If you're new, subscribe to my channel, like, share, and you might be helping someone somewhere to learn 1 or 2 things that can help them with their journey of becoming an Australian permanent resident, or coming to Australia through regional skilled immigration visa. And if you're passing by, please subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell. So see you guys next time.